Hi, welcome back to Pint-Sized Guilt-Free Torah. We've been talking about the story of Joseph. Today is the Yortzeit. It's the 18th of the Hebrew month of Kislev. It's the Yortzeit of the Alter of Navardik, one of the great masters of the Musar movement. That's a movement in Judaism in the mid-19th century that focused on character development and self-knowledge and mindfulness. And one of the greats of that movement was the Alter of Navardik. So I just want to share an idea that he said. Joseph, he said, is the paradigm of a person who knew where he came from and never gave up. He always retained his trust in God under all circumstances. This is the family I come from, the family of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, a family that's presenting monotheism to the world. I'm part of that and part of that tradition, and I will not give up. Even if my brothers hate me, even if I'm thrown into a pit, even if I'm sold to be a slave, even if I will be in my master's house and I will be attempted, they will attempt to seduce me, I will not give in to that. And even after they frame me, I will not forget who I am. I will not become an animal like the people around me. He was dignified, whether he was in prison, whether he was in a pit, wherever he was Joseph. He is our model. The nephew of the Alter Navardik, Chaim Shulevitz, asked a question. When Joseph was sold into Egypt, the journey going down, he was taken by the Yishmaelim, and they had a caravan, and they were taking spices. Now, normally those caravans took kerosene and other foul-smelling substances, but this time the caravan they took Joseph down to Egypt to sell him in the slave market. Was a caravan there were spices. Everything smelled very nice. And it said that was a lot of encouragement to Joseph. He felt very good. He was going down with this nice smelling caravan. So in that, Chaim Shulevitz asks, what do you mean you're feeling good? It's a nice smelling caravan. You're 17 years old. You're about to be sold into slavery for the rest of your life, a miserable existence. Slavery in the ancient world, slavery in all times is awful, but in the ancient world is the worst of worst. And you're going to be sold into slavery for the rest of your life, and you're just happy because of the senses? He answers the following. Joseph knew that being as the caravans usually took foul-smelling materials, but right now, this one, out of nowhere, all of a sudden, coincidentally, has spices and sweet-smelling things. That's a message from God. I'm with you in this difficulty. No matter how tough the situation, just like normally things should be foul-smelling, and this is sweet, we can sweeten other situations also. Don't forget about me, God says. And of course, I never forget about you. And so that's what encouraged Joseph. And this happens to us throughout life. Sometimes you're going through a very difficult situation. Nothing seems to work. And you have to be at the hospital with a sick parent, and you're there for the weekend when you had a vacation, and there's nothing there. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, somebody brings you a Starbucks coffee. So where'd this come from? By accident, I put an extra one and have it. And you really wanted a coffee, and you really wanted a good coffee. Where did that come from? That's a sign. Wow, things aren't as bad as I thought. Things can happen. There is a future. Joseph always remembered who he was, where he came from. There's a future. There's God in his life. God doesn't forget about him. And just like he didn't forget about him, he doesn't forget about us and the Jewish people. We're still around. We still live here. We still have our message to give light to the world. And as long as we're doing that, even though there's some tough times, we can get through them. Have a great day.